When Russia's 4.5 million invincible T-90M tank rolled into battle, it expected easy prey. Instead, it met America's 30-year-old Bradley, a vehicle Russian propaganda mocked as just an armored taxi. What happened next shocked military experts worldwide. The Bradley dodged the T-90's massive 125mm cannon, then systematically dismantled Russia's most advanced tank using nothing but its tiny 25mm chain gun. No missiles needed. The tank's turret started spinning uncontrollably before erupting into flames. A humiliating disco turret failure caught on camera. This wasn't just one lucky shot. Since arriving in Ukraine, these outdated Bradleys have obliterated Russia's elite tanks at an astonishing rate, exposing fatal flaws in Putin's war machine. How poorly trained Russian crews can't hit targets even at close range. Why a vehicle 18 tons lighter outmaneuvered Russia's ultimate weapon. The critical design flaw that turns T-90s into spinning fireballs. What this embarrassing defeat reveals about Russia's true military capabilities. The same Bradley design that demolished Soviet tanks in Desert Storm just proved that 30 years later, Russian technology still can't compete. Watch the full battle breakdown that's forcing military strategists worldwide to rewrite their playbooks. Putin doesn't want you to see this. On January 11, 2024, near the Ukrainian city of Avdiivka, a truly jaw-dropping event took place that left the military world buzzing. A Ukrainian Bradley outperformed and embarrassed Russia's most advanced T-90M main battle tank in the village of Stepo. The event began with both sides unaware of the confrontation happening in Stepo. The Ukrainian 47th Brigade had sent out their Bradleys as part of an ongoing defensive operation. The battle kicked off with the T-90M firing its powerful 125mm cannon at the Bradley from close range, but it missed. The Bradley, much smaller and faster than the T-90M, quickly fired back with its 25mm chain gun, landing numerous rounds on the Russian tank's turret and hull. T-90M didn't back down easily. It fired again, but once more, its shot missed. Now, Bradley ducked behind cover, waiting for another opportunity while the T-90 tried and failed to line up another shot. But then, things got even more interesting. The first Bradley ran low on ammunition, and a second Bradley moved in to continue the fistfight. Ukrainian commander Siri and his driver Alexander appeared on TV and explained their strategy. Initially, they used armor-piercing rounds, but after an ammo jam, they were forced to switch to high-explosive rounds. At first, this seemed like a poor choice. The T-90's thick armor should have made the explosive rounds largely ineffective, but Siri, instead of targeting the tank's armor, aimed for the T-90's sensors and optics. This tactic worked wonders. In this intense encounter, the T-90 tried to escape after failing to lock onto its target, but it was already too late. A massive flash erupted from the turret, likely from its explosive reactive armor, and the tank's turret spun out of control, bursting into flames. The Bradley, agile and relentless, kept firing until the T-90 was fully disabled. A final strike was dropped by a drone after the tank collided with a tree. Do you think tactics and speed matter more than armor and firepower? Drop your thoughts in the comments. With its powerful 125mm cannon and 48 tons of weight, the T-90 was no match for the lighter, faster, and more agile Bradley, which weighed only 30 tons. In this battle at close range, the Bradley's turret, which could rotate 360 degrees in 6 seconds, gave it a major advantage. The T-90 was unable to keep up because of its slower turret, which rotated in 9 seconds. Plus, it was overloaded because the T-90's smoke canisters were unable to protect it. The result was obvious. The Ukrainian forces outwitted Russia's power, regardless of whether the smoke grenade went off or the reactive armor burst. This battle took place in Stepo, near Avdiivka, a crucial spot where Ukrainian forces are using their terrain knowledge and ambush tactics to outsmart the Russians. It's almost unbelievable. A heavily armored Russian T-90 taken down by a lighter, more mobile Bradley. But was this just a fluke, or is Bradley superior in certain ways? Let's compare the raw capabilities of both machines and see why this battle was more than just luck. The Bradley's journey began in 1963 when the U.S. Army initiated efforts to create an advanced infantry fighting vehicle capable of keeping pace with the M1 Abrams tank. The primary motivation behind this project was the Soviet BMP-1, an IFV that posed a serious challenge to American ground forces. FMC Corporation took on the challenge, leading to nearly 2 decades of development before the Bradley was officially introduced in 1981. Named after General Omar Bradley, This vehicle was designed to fulfill multiple battlefield roles, including infantry transport and armored reconnaissance. The Bradley family includes two main variants: the M2 Infantry Fighting Vehicle, IFV, and the M3 Cavalry Fighting Vehicle, CFV. Both variants have a three-member crew consisting of a commander, a gunner, and a driver. The M2 accommodates 6 fully equipped soldiers, while the M3 is optimized for reconnaissance missions and has additional space for anti-tank missiles. Now, let's talk numbers. Weighing in at 30.4 short tons, or roughly 27.6 metric tons, the Bradley is a substantial force. Its length of 21.5 feet, 6.55 meters, width of 12 feet, 3.6 meters, and height of 9.8 feet, 2.98 meters, give it a massive presence on the battlefield. But its size doesn't slow it down. The Bradley is powered by a Cummins 5T, a 903T diesel engine that delivers a solid 600 horsepower. This means the Bradley can reach speeds up to 35 miles per hour, 56 kilometers per hour, and travel up to 250 miles, 400 kilometers, on a single tank of fuel. Its firepower is the 25mm M242 Bushmaster chain gun, capable of firing up to 300 rounds of ammunition per minute, including high-explosive incendiary and armor-piercing rounds. And that's not all. This comes equipped with 2 BGM-71 Tau anti-tank missiles, providing an unmatched punch against heavily armored vehicles. For close-quarter combat, a 7.62mm M240C machine gun provides secondary support. Simply put, the Bradley is designed to obliterate anything that crosses its path. Now, when in a shocking turn of events, a Ukrainian Bradley embarrassed Russia's T-90M tank, leaving experts scratching their heads. How did a vehicle designed to transport troops outmatch Russia's arsenal? And it didn't just survive, it humiliated the T-90M, causing it to self-ignite. But how? Since January 2023, the US has provided Ukraine with 190 M2 Bradley variants, and reports from soldiers confirm its exceptional durability against mines, drones, and mortars. This resilience is crucial, as the Bradley was designed to ensure troop survivability while delivering infantry into battle. Who wins in a fair fight, the Bradley or the T-90? Vote in the poll on the Community tab. Back to the topic. What makes it so effective in combat? First, Ukraine's Bradley variant is equipped with the Bradley Urban Survival Kit, BUSK, which includes a high-intensity spotlight, wire mesh for optics protection, nylon strips for downed power lines, additional reactive armor, and internal anti-spalling lining to prevent injuries from shell fragments. It also features software that detects component damage and a built-in training simulator for gunners. Second, the Bradley's weapons are primarily meant to support disembarking infantry, drawing enemy fire toward heavier armored vehicles instead. This results in fewer Bradley losses when backed by stronger firepower. Finally, the Bradley is fast and maneuverable, reaching speeds of 40 miles per hour with a torsion bar suspension and an aluminum chassis. This makes it lighter and more adaptable to rough terrain, reducing damage during rapid maneuvers. Its agility allows drivers and gunners to stay mobile in combat, making it harder to target with drones or anti-tank missiles. Ultimately, Bradley's superior speed, adaptability, and defensive features proved too much, and the armored vehicle has proven this time and time again to be far more lethal than anyone expected. In 1991, during Operation Desert Storm, the Bradley first faced off against Soviet T-72 tanks. While Russia wasn't directly involved in the conflict, Saddam Hussein's Iraqi army used Soviet tanks, and Bradley was part of a US-led coalition tasked with liberating Kuwait. During the operation, the US deployed 1,700 Bradleys in a massive armored charge across Saudi Arabia and Iraq. One of the key battles, the Battle of 73 Easting, has since been dubbed the last great tank battle of the 20th century. In the opening moments of the battle, just 2 Bradleys used their anti-tank launchers to destroy 5 T-72 tanks within minutes. Over the next 90 minutes, the Bradley, working alongside the M1 Abrams tanks, destroyed more than 170 Iraqi tanks and dozens of armored vehicles. The loss for the US was minimal, with just 1 Bradley lost due to enemy fire, resulting in 1 man killed and 12 injured. Desert Storm ended in a swift Allied victory, with the Iraqis suffering devastating losses. 3,000 tanks and 2,000 armored vehicles destroyed, along with tens of thousands of soldiers. In contrast, The US and its allies suffered just 147 casualties, with only a few dozen tanks destroyed. The Bradleys were particularly praised for their speed and lethal firepower. Now it's hard to ignore the fact that those same 30-year-old Bradley, just two of them take down one of the most hyped tanks in the world with ease. Do you think the T-90M is overrated? Or was this just bad luck? Comment below. A combination of key factors, ranging from the T-90's vulnerabilities to Ukrainian tactics, resulted in a heavily armored Russian T-90 loss, which, as per Putin and the media, is the best tank in the world. First, let's talk about the T-90. It boasts a powerful 125mm gun and reactive armor, but its protection system has serious flaws. The reactive armor, meant to protect against projectiles, failed against the Bradley's cannon. Despite its advanced design, the T-90 simply couldn't handle the Bradley's high rate of fire and armored piercing shells. One of the T-90's biggest weaknesses is its vulnerability to even minor damage. When hit, the tank can experience a disco turret effect. The crew loses control, and the tank drives aimlessly. Russian tanks often struggle with poorly trained crews who lack coordination and proper awareness on the battlefield. The lack of teamwork among Russian tank units is another major flaw. Unlike well-coordinated forces, Russian tanks often operate solo, making them easy targets. The Bradley's superior coordination exploited this, overwhelming the T-90 by quickly exploiting its vulnerabilities. Lastly, Russian tank crews often lack the training needed to operate effectively. Many are thrown into battle with minimal preparation, making their tanks predictable and vulnerable. The T-90M was supposed to be Russia's ultimate war machine, fast, deadly, and the king of the battlefield. Instead, it has been nothing but a disaster on the illegal war against Ukraine. The tank entered service in 2017 with features like explosive reactive armor, a modern fire control system, and a 1,130 horsepower engine capable of speeds up to 37 miles per hour. But Russian tanks are notoriously slow in reverse. In combat, this is a death sentence. A T-90M trying to retreat is either too slow to escape enemy fire or has to turn around completely, exposing its weak backside. Ukrainian forces have exploited this weakness again and again. And the worst part? The T-90M wasn't just defeated by state-of-the-art Western tanks. It was destroyed by an M2 Bradley. Russia's so-called invincible tank was taken down by an armored taxi. What's even more ridiculous? The Bradley didn't even use its anti-tank missiles. It simply aimed for the T-90's sensors. And that was enough to turn the so-called best tank in the world into a burning wreck. If the T-90's high-tech optics can be destroyed by a few well-placed rounds from a 25mm chain gun, then what exactly makes this tank advanced? More than 2 years into the war, the T-90M has proven to be a total failure. The Russians have lost so many at the beginning of the war that they are rarely seen on the battlefield anymore. And let's not forget the design flaw that is feeding TikTok with more videos than it can handle: the disco turret moment. The tank's turret spinning out of control before bursting into flames. Due to poor construction, the control system sends false signals when the optics are damaged. Now, that's a battlefield joke. Russia hyped this tank as unstoppable, but in reality, it crumbled under pressure. It has exposed just how outdated and flawed Russia's armored forces are. If this is the best Russia has to offer, it's no wonder their military strategy keeps falling apart. No wonder why 3 days went into 3 years. At the current pace, it will take them another 300 years to take Ukraine. In contrast, the Ukrainians have adapted and improved their tactics, making the Bradley a force to be reckoned with. With years of combat experience, the Bradley's speed, agility, and coordinated attacks proved deadly against the T-90. This battle is nothing short of a wake-up call, and it paints a bleak picture of Russia's military pride. The T-90, once hailed as an impenetrable fortress, has now been humbled most shockingly. And let's not forget the Armata tank, but we'll save that for another video. Check out our video CV90, revolutionizes Ukraine's battlefield strategy for a deeper dive into how these vehicles are reshaping the fight. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Click here to watch now and stay updated on this fascinating shift in military power.